Here we go then. On the hunt for the 9th FA Cup. Chelsea travel to Championship Barnsley tonight. Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. FA Cup 5th round. Looking forward to this one. I'm joined by Jason Cundy, Zach Jellub and Claire Rafferty as well. Jace, this is a competition we've got history in, but also this fixture has got history in it, hasn't it? 13 years ago, this opposition, this stadium. All you, mate.
Yeah, good evening, guys. I believe I was doing the commentary for Chelsea TV back then. It was a shock. I mean, absolute shock. It was a season really where we kind of stumbled at the last, of course, under Everton Grant. We got to the League Cup final. We knocked out by Barnsley, and then, of course, the Champions League final as well. So it was kind of a season to forget for a lot of reasons. And when I've got a good friend of mine that's a Barnsley fan, and of course, when this draw came up, the conversation that he wanted to talk about was that day. And but it was a huge shock. I mean, it was. This today will be a bigger shock, I think, because football has moved on, the finances have moved on. But if you look back at the side that we put out on that occasion, it was an incredibly strong team that we had out. I mean, it was a Premier League side. Look, let's move on. Let's take care of business today. I don't want to get onto any negative thoughts right now, but that one and Bradford still hurt a lot.
Your friend was very quick to mention 13 years ago and not a couple of months back when we played him in the Carabao Cup.
I mean, I didn't really want to hold, we should be beating them 6-0, shouldn't we? We shouldn't be losing to them. I didn't really want to come back at that. But, I think this is going to be a tough game. I mean, I think the first at half, I mean, I'm not expecting to be much in it, to be honest. I expect us to pull away and eventually have too much for them. But, look, they've got nothing to lose. And as we found out on that day back, all those years ago, that was exactly as it turned out for them. And they themselves, if they get anything extra time or anything, it's a small victory for them. So we've got to take care of business.
Completely. Well, let's have a look at how we're predicting for tonight. And of course, this is Play Predictor presented by Carabao. You can win a £100 Megastore voucher and a signed shirt if you top the leaderboard for tonight. All you need to do is get yourself on the 5th standout and get your predictions in ASAP because they close in a couple of minutes' time. So make sure you do that very quickly on Sunday. Adrian from the UK won with an 85-point total, which is very, very good indeed. Right, this is what we have gone for tonight. Final scores only for us, of course. I've gone for a 4-0 Chelsea win. Jason has gone 4-1. Claire has gone 3-0. Zach has gone 5-0. Claire, 3-0 for you tonight. Like Jason said, it's just about getting business done this evening.
Yeah, I think Jason's spot on there. I think they're going to be quite stubborn initially. It's going to be about us being patient, but I do expect goals. Tuchel hasn't lost any of his, hasn't lost a game yet. So, and we've only conceded one. So I'm expecting floodgates to open tonight and hopefully it'll be a repeat of what already happened this season.
Well, I mean, if we're going to repeat earlier in the season, Zach, you're going to be very close with your prediction for tonight. 6-0 in the Carabao Cup in August, wasn't it? Or September, August time. You've gone for 5-0 tonight, mate.
Yeah, indeed. I kind of said it on the social push earlier that we've even a heavily rotated Chelsea side is still a Chelsea side that should be winning 5-0. The players that we have are of top quality, and if the ones that we kind of think are going to start, as Tuchel said in his press conference, that it's going to be rotated, then they have too much quality to kind of to beat them. I think we're going to just dominate the game basically. But that being said, they were half decent in the first half in the Carabao, so we do need to be aware.
Completely right, mate. Completely right. It's going to be an important one tonight. We have, in fact, we're joined by Matt Davies-Adams, who is looking very wrapped up. I'm pleased to say this evening, Matt. You're at Oakwell. Firstly, it's a very silly question, but are you warm enough, pal?
No, not even close. I still haven't defrosted from Sunday, Joe.
Mate, well, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to hold you any longer. Talk us through the team news.
All right, so 10 changes from Sunday. Last time we were in Yorkshire. Only Andreas Christensen retaining his place from that team. Doesn't look like a change of formation to me, though. Kerr in goal. Back three is Zouma, Christensen, and we're expecting Emerson to play left centre-back. Then it'll be Callum and Marcos Alonso as the wing-backs. Billy and N'Golo Kante. Kante's wearing the captain's armband tonight too. And then a front three of Tammy Abraham, either side of whom will be Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech. And there's a couple of youngsters on the bench as well. Tino Andrin's one of them. Lewis Bate is another. Remember, you can make 5 subs in the FA Cup, so maybe we'll get to see one or both of them later.
Matt, obviously you'll have seen a lot of Andrin and Bate. We've seen Andrin in sort of sporadic sort of chances this season. He played in Krasnodar in the Champions League, didn't he? But both of those, and even the players that are sort of coming in 10 changes today, it's an opportunity for everyone. But like Jason and Claire and Zach, we've all already said, it's about getting the job done tonight first and foremost, and then growing on that.
Yeah, and Tino Andrin's good enough to play in the Championship at the moment, I would think. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a loan there last season. So it's not like they're going to be making a step up that they won't be able to handle. I'd say similar about Lewis Bate, although we obviously haven't seen as much of him in a first team setting. But the hope is Chelsea go a couple of goals up in the second half. We can bring those two on and get a good look at them.
That'd be very nice, wouldn't it? Claire, as well, the importance of giving people an opportunity tonight, and like we've all alluded to a number of times this season, Chelsea's squad is so deep and so strong that when you do make 10 changes, you're bringing in a World Cup winner in N'Golo Kante, Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic, who have played in Champions League sort of latter stages for their previous clubs, and that level of experience. So it's an opportunity tonight for those players to sort of get a run in the team, I suppose, and stake a claim.
Yeah, not a bad list of players to swap in, eh? I think, we talk a lot, don't we, about the opportunity of these players. Kante he hasn't had as many minutes as probably he would have liked. So it's, he's been given a captain's armband as well. So this is about him taking control of this game. And hopefully we'll see the introduction of some of the younger players off the bench as well. The FA Cup, it's not going to be a straightforward game. This is going to be about patience and, some of these players not trying to try too hard. Not trying too hard to impress and being calm and staying within the game. And I think that's what we're going to see, at least for the first half, I think.
Zach, Tammy Abraham obviously leading the line tonight. It sounds silly to say, but the last time we saw him from the start properly, he scored a hat-trick against Luton. Yet since he's found it difficult to nail down a starting berth. But Tammy's goal-scoring ability is never in doubt. And if he does it again tonight, then he's going to be knocking on the manager's door for Newcastle on Monday, isn't he?
100%. Yeah, I think we know that Tuchel is still trying to figure out his best formation, or not necessarily formation, the players that fit in the right areas, and we know he's also not afraid to change things up. I think literally the game before he joined was when Tammy scored a hattie, and unfortunately he wasn't in the squad for the next match, but. He's also, we kind of mentioned earlier, look at what Mason Mount did. In just 10 minutes, he was able to make sure that he gets his place in, week out. That's what Tammy's got to do today. He's got to show his worth to Thomas Tuchel and say that this is the reason I need to be starting every single game, especially this weekend coming. And he can only do that by scoring goals. They're the real ways to make an impact.
Jace, Emerson on the left of a centre-back three. I mean, I suppose if you're going to learn from someone how to adjust from being a full-back or a wing-back to a centre-half, you've got Cesar Azpilicueta that's made that step across look seamless and look very, very easy. So I'm assuming that he'll have been asking him and taking tips from that. But it's an opportunity for Emerson, especially with injuries in one of the three centre-halves in being Thiago Silva. If he plays well in there, there's no reason he can't sort of be knocking on the door like the other players are as well.
Well, I mean, this is what these games are kind of for the man, especially Tuchel, who's only been here 10 minutes. These are, who knows, injuries, suspensions can happen. Look what's happened at Liverpool. 3 centre-halves go lame for the rest of the season, and all of a sudden you're looking at Williams and Phillips to come in, and clearly they've not had enough game time. Klopp doesn't fancy them. He's had the boy, bring a couple of lads in, the boy Davis from Preston and the lad from Schalke. So that's an opportunity if it happens. My gut feeling is this is just to make sure that we can get Alonso on that left-hand side, because if we don't, I mean, if we hadn't have let maybe one or two go out on loan, there might have been some other options for the manager right now at that position, but that's not been the case. So, yeah, I mean, look, games like this come along. You often find it presents an opportunity, like we saw with Tammy, yet you can score a hat-trick, and really, is that enough, a hat-trick in an FA Cup game against lower league opposition? Maybe not. I think in these games, you've got to make sure you take it and play well, because there may well, who knows, who we're going to get in the draw if we get through. This formation, this team may find themselves in the next round and playing against bigger and better opposition. But I think Tuchel's still looking at his squad and trying to find out who plays where, who's best. Because don't forget, we started this season pretty much playing a 4 consistently. That's changed. So it offers up a whole new range of opportunities, not just at the back, but right the way through the middle of the park and up front.
Well, it brings us nicely onto our hot topic, our first hot topic of the evening, because I think everything you've just said there, Jason, has been emphatically answered in terms of his team selection. But first hot topic is, what will the FA Cup mean to Thomas Tuchel? You know, he's got an incredible cup record in his career. He's lost only 9 of 45 cup ties in his managerial career, which is staggering. He's won the Pokal with Dortmund. He's won both domestic cups in France with Paris Saint-Germain. It's obviously a real opportunity to get silverware this season straight away. Chelsea FA Cup serial winners, you know, with finalists last year. Matt, you can see that he's taking it seriously by the players he's selected today, even to the extent of Angerin and Bate being on the bench. He's not saying we've got a lot of games, we've got a lot of football. Let's give people an opportunity. He's using players like N'Golo Kante, like we said, as a World Cup winner that perhaps needs a few more minutes, but also is a World Cup winner to say, let's make sure we get the job done. This can work in everyone's favour tonight. But he's gone very strong with the team.
Yeah, I think the fact that the Newcastle game is on Monday has helped him be able to do that. It means there's a decent period of rest. But as you say, Chelsea's about winning trophies. If he can get one in his first couple of months, then that is massive, obviously. And then the other thing, which I think will come into people's thinking, hopefully, I really hope it will anyway, is that by the time we get to the FA Cup final, we might be able to have some supporters there. And that might be one of the first games where we have supporters. So it could actually be one of the biggest occasions in English football for at least a year. So you're going to want to be there. And, you know, we see that by the quality of the teams that are left in the competition. There aren't loads and loads of championship sides left standing. There aren't weak Premier League teams left in it, with the exception of Sheffield United possibly. But you get to this stage of the competition and it is your Chelsea's, your Manchester clubs, the big teams who go and invariably go on and win it as well. And Chelsea obviously come into that category and desperate to go one step further than last year.
Just adding on the back of that, Claire, as well. The team that you selected there, only Hakim Ziyech will have been is the kind of the new addition from everyone else. Will have been around the squad for the FA Cup final last season. Even Ziyech was about, even though he couldn't register and play for Chelsea, he was about. So this isn't like a new experience for any of them. So the players know how much it means to play in an FA Cup final. The players will know it's a great opportunity as well. If you get through tonight, quarter final, depending on how the draw goes, like Matt's already alluded to, there are a couple of teams in there that you'd fancy yourself against. And really, other than Man City, I think Chelsea fans are back themselves against anyone at the moment. So as a player going into this tonight, do you know that it could be a little bit of a banana skin if you don't take it seriously, but this is an opportunity for you to progress in a favourable manner?
You know, I think, you know, you start the season and you have a tick box of where you want to get to and what you want to achieve. And FA Cup's always up there. You know, you work your way through each of the games. And we did it all the time. Emma Hayes put the tick boxes up, and we'd every kind of a progression we'd make, we'd tick it off. And it is that expectation as a Chelsea player, and as Chelsea, you're expected to win silverware. You know, he has a rich history in it. The club has a rich history in it. He's taken it seriously. I think there is that anticipation, and I think as a Chelsea player, that's what they expect. And yeah, I think they will thrive under this pressure.
Zach, last season, Billy Gilmour ran the show in a number of FA Cup rounds. You know, this is clearly a competition that he feels very comfortable in, and we know how good he is. Christian Pulisic's another one, I suppose, you know, scored in the FA Cup final. We'll have a few wrongs to right in terms of wanting to get his hands on a winner's medal rather than runners up this season. It's an opportunity to players that we know are capable, but perhaps through injury, through illness, etc., haven't had an opportunity to get a run in the team. But especially Billy and Christian Pulisic tonight, it's a chance to do that in a competition that we know they thrive in.
100%. I think we kind of thought at times that maybe Billy would have gone on loan for the rest of this season, and apparently he spoke to Tuchel and told him that you're going to get minutes under me, you will get enough time under me to make an impression. And so it's a huge game for him today. We know, I think all of us as Chelsea fans know the potential and the ability he already has to play in that midfield role. I mean, you just think about last season when he played against Everton in the 4-0, when he played against Liverpool, an absolutely bossed a midfield of Premier League and Champions League winning midfielders, including Fabinho. So today will be massive for him, because if he can make an impression, Kovacic and Jorginho have played very, very well this season since Tuchel's come in charge. But if he can make an impression, then he can try and put his stake and put his name into the hat to start in some of the games. And for Pulisic, if he never got injured in that final, who knows what could have happened? He looked like the most lethal player on that day. And so, as you said, Tuchel knows the ability that he has, having previously worked with him. And I think we all know the potential he has. After lockdown last season, he was arguably the best player in the side. If he get back to that without getting injury, it'll be fantastic. And today would be a really good time to start.
Completely right, mate. Well, that is all from us for now. Matt, stay warm for us, mate. Well, I'm sure we'll catch up with you a little bit later, and I might go and put a jumper on myself, to be fair. I'm getting a little bit chilly in here, but we'll be back shortly. Nice one, mate. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you stick around, because right now, you can hear from Thomas Tuchel's press conference ahead of tonight's game in full.
Thank you. Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Thomas, what's your team news for this game, and what's your approach to the FA Cup at this stage?
Well, second question is very easy. When we play any competition, we play to win it. So if you every round in any cup competition is the most important round, because this is an elimination game, and we have to be totally focused and totally on point tomorrow when the match starts, and to finish with a win. This is the absolute desire. We will. There's a high possibility. We see a lot of changes. Why? Because first of all, everybody who's on the pitch tomorrow deserves to be on the pitch. So there will be guys tomorrow who suffer a little bit from my decisions in the last games, because they deserve. And second of all, for me is now, or for us, is the third away match in a row. And we don't want to lose attention and awareness and intensity in our game. And for this is the moment to have some fresh legs and fresh minds on the pitch, to play with full concentration and at the same time full intensity, to be able to secure this win. And this is what we aim for.
Will Hakim Ziyech be one of those players to get a chance? I know this week he's been speaking about how difficult it's been to settle in English football.
Yeah.
I just wondered, where does he fit into your plans, and when do you think we'll see the best of him?
Hopefully tomorrow we see the best in him. He had a good training week. We count on Hakim like on everybody else. There's absolutely no doubts about that. He had now we took some decisions for other players, not against him, but for other players, and he will have the chance to show tomorrow the same quality that he shows in training, the same determination. For me, it's clear that he needs to adapt to this kind of football, to this kind of league. He comes from the Dutch league, from a strong Ajax squad, but they were the benchmark in the league, and it's not the same intensity and not the same competition like it is here. But he's adapting, and he has the certain quality to decide matches and to the certain quality to do the unexpected, which can give you an extra twist in any game and on any level. He proved that with Ajax, and of course we want to push him to the same level and to the same level of performance that he showed there, and this is our job.
Off the pitch, I know some of your players have suffered from online abuse. I just wondered what you made of what's happened this morning with some of the social media companies, Instagram, Facebook, pledging to do more and cancel accounts and things like that. Are you pleased with that as a development?
For sure, 100%. And I'm the abuse, if it is in social media or directly, is simply unacceptable. There's no other opinion here from the club and clearly from me. It's unacceptable, and everything we can do, we have to do to stop it.
Last question, please, Paul.
Okay, I was going to ask about Chelsea being linked to Upamecano and Haaland, obviously two massive players. If players like that become available, would you at least like to see Chelsea in the mix?
Man, you have the whole range of questions in all four. We can finish this press conference after we go from FA Cup to individual players to transfer market to social media. You took the whole range. I can understand your interest in that question, and I can understand the interest of every fan and supporter to talk about these subjects. I'm also sometimes a fan, and I'm always a fan and interested in what is going on. But now is February, and this is a long way to go. And as you know me, or maybe get to know me better, I will not talk about other players publicly when they are under contract. And this is the kind of respect that we show to them, but show in first of all to our players. We think about our central defenders and our strikers first, and we push them to the limits, and everything else will be decided behind closed doors. I'm so sorry.
John Southall, BBC.
Hi, Thomas.
Hi.
Talking about players getting a chance tomorrow, is this a chance to start N'Golo Kante, and how does he fit into your plans, and where do you see his best position?
This is very easy because I think that N'Golo fits into every manager's plans on the planet. I was desperate to have him in in my teams. He's a Chelsea player, and he's a big Chelsea player and one of the best midfielders in the world. So now I'm so lucky to have him in my squad, and I'm so lucky that he is back again. When you look at his performances, like coming after injury, and we just put him on the pitch against Tottenham with no minutes before then. Was it against Tottenham? Which was really difficult, and he just did like what he always does. He helps everybody around on the pitch he helps everybody on the pitch, and with his support and his mentality and his quality. And if you see the step that he took between the Tottenham match, okay, in training you didn't see, but obviously in the 30 minutes he played for us, or 20 minutes against Sheffield, was a huge performance when we switched to a 3 in the midfield. And this was very, very important to escape the pressure and to be in control of the game again. And I'm very, very impressed. I mean, I know him since many years, and we know him very well because we come from French club. So we were very impressed from television, but to see the guy live, to see him how he works, how humble he is, and what quality he gives to this team here is a gift to be his coach, and I'm super happy. He will start tomorrow. For me, his best position is a 6-6. He can play single 6, but his strength is also to have a kind of a freedom in his game, we use his volume and we use his range of that he can use in his game. So if he plays a single 6, like in a 4-1-4-1, you have to be more disciplined. You have to a little bit more disciplined in your position. He can do this, but I think we would cut his wings a little bit. So 6-6 is the best position. He could even play in a 3 midfield like he did in Sheffield. If we keep the structure like we had in the last games, I think we do him. It suits him very well because it's clear what we want from him, and the distances are close to use his strengths in counter pressing and in recoveries of the ball. Like I said, it's an outstanding player that we absolutely need in a strong squad and in a big club like Chelsea. It's top to have him.
One more, please, John.
Absolutely. And how have you found English football? It's been pretty hectic, hasn't it, since you arrived here? Has it been what you expected, the game? Have there been any surprises at all?
Well, obviously we followed the Premier League very, very closely, and we had some matches in Champions League and international football against your top teams here in England. So it was not a surprise, but when in the end, when you feel it and you experience at the sideline every 3 days, it's again different, because it's again like it is. Yeah, suddenly you experience what you expect, and it is big intensity also in coaching, in the dugout next to me, big intensity in coaching, big intensity, big physical input, very, very disciplined in defending, very disciplined teams in their structure and in their beliefs of their approaches. So also a lot of confidence in the approach that the teams show, also against the big teams. Everybody is trying to fight hard for a win. Nobody is settling in for like a good draw or maybe a close defeat and is happy with it. No, we don't experience this. And I have the feeling that this is all about football and this is all about what we love about this game. You find it in this league, and this is why we are very excited. Very happy, and it hopefully brings out the best in us.
James, talk sport.
Thomas, you've won the Cup in Germany and in France as a manager.
Yeah.
What would it mean to you to win the FA Cup?
this will be huge. This would be huge, absolutely. I mean, the FA Cup is one of the most prestigious cup in the world. It's played in Wembley, and even if you're a little boy in Germany with no internet at these times and no sports channels where you can watch every game like nowadays, you know the words Wembley for sure, and the words FA Cup. You notice that it is a big game to play and a big goal to achieve. But you know me now very well, or maybe better and better, and the approach is tomorrow is the most important game of this cup campaign, because tomorrow is a decisive match and it's an elimination match, and we know all very well that we can expect everything in a game of football. So we have to go step by step, but for sure we do everything to prepare this game to win it and to go one round ahead.
I've spoken to Valerian Ismail, who you know well. You managed a game against him when you were in Germany, and he said he's already seen some of the patterns that you had at Dortmund and at PSG already here at Chelsea. How pleased are you with the way the players are buying into your methods?
I'm very pleased with the quality I see, and with the mentality I see, and with the team performances, because it is always a team effort, and I'm in here now for some days. We see the quality of the players, and the fame is always for the players. Of course, we want to guide them, and of course we want to help them, and we want to help and guide them. But it is the quality in the end, and it is the determination, and it is the mentality to stick to a game plan, and to help each other out, and to attack together and to defend together. This is what we see, and in terms of all these segments, I see a lot of quality, and I'm very, very happy with the attitude, the mentality, and the energy we show on the pitch. And it is a good start, and if we can manage to show some patterns, it will help us to increase the amount of attacks. It will help us to play faster, because everybody gets used to it. So it will help us to keep the game easy, fast, and to bring the intensity. But how it is played is the most important, and how the players play it is their credit, and this is a very high level right here that we find here in the dressing room and on the pitch, and this is now on us to keep this momentum going.
Last two in this section, Jerry Cox and Nick Purewater finish. Jerry.
Good afternoon, Thomas.
Hi.
How's Thiago Silva? Because he looked quite bad last week when he was injured at Tottenham.
Yeah, he's Thiago.
Mm-hmm.
He's out. He feels now better and better. He gets a lot of treatment, and I know Thiago obviously very, very well from the last years. We can all be absolutely sure that Thiago is spending every minute available to speed up the process of healing. But it takes its time. It's a muscle injury. We cannot force. You cannot pull the grass to make it grow faster. It's like this with muscle injury, So he is out for tomorrow for sure.
Last question, Nick Pure.
Hi Thomas, just on N'Golo, he's obviously got a number of hamstring injuries in recent times. And some people, I think unfairly, because they haven't maybe taken those injuries into account, suggested that he might not be able to get back to the high energy intensity performances he's had in the past. Can you just talk about the fact that, if there's anything you will do to try and, stem those injuries, but also I'm assuming that you're not concerned about his ability to get.
I'm absolutely not concerned about any more injuries, because I feel a support and quality of medical, physical department workload on highest level. So I'm absolutely not concerned, and we can manage his minutes and his workload, and we take care about him in all physical aspects what he needs. And second, I'm absolutely not concerned about his quality. What I see on the pitch during the games, but what I see here on the pitch in Cobham is how can I put it? Is everything what I expected, but I expected a lot. I can tell you I expected a lot because I'm a huge fan of him. And I can see the input he has on teams. He makes teams better. He makes guys around him feel comfortable. He has the mentality of a water carrier, but on such a high level. And what I see here in possession games, what I see here in acceleration, what I see here in passing ability, is absolutely outstanding. Combined in such a humble personality, I am absolutely not concerned.
The FA Cup reaches fourth round stage, and for Chelsea that means the visit of Luton Town to Stamford Bridge. Werner. The deflection takes it Abraham's way, and he slots it in for 1-0. Beautifully rolled into the bottom corner. Good work from Timo Werner to set up the opportunity, and it's the first ever FA Cup goal in Chelsea blue for Tammy Abraham. For Reece James. And Ziyech again.
Chelsea looking dangerous on every attack at the moment.
Abraham, 2-0. Tammy Abraham gets his and Chelsea's second of the game. It's been a perfect start to the match for Frank Lampard. Another good ball in, this time from James, and Abraham able to glance it over Sluga. Ryu swapped his shirt and doesn't have a number on his back now. Decent ball in that on. Kepa's let it squirm through him, and from nothing, Jordan Clark gets Luton back into it.
Talked about not allowing Luton anything at all, and for me, Kepa should have done a whole lot better.
This is Potts. Panzi moved it on cleverly first time. Cornick for 2-2. Good save, Kepa. That is a big chance for Luton Town to draw level.
It is, and it's a big save as well.
Here's Hudson-Odoi. Gilmour gave it him back, and there's Abraham, and what a goal that is. It might be the moment that sends Chelsea through to round 5. A wonderfully crafted team goal, and Tammy Abraham has a hat-trick.
It's a team goal, it's a team effort. It's the third goal that takes the tie away from Luton.
No foul there from Christensen. Good ball through for Werner here. Timo Werner surely fouled. Jordan Clark, the man who he collided with. And the referee quick to point to the spot and show the yellow card.
Yeah, it's the right decision.
Werner versus Sluga then. It's saved by the goalkeeper. Straight down the middle, and Werner's bad luck in front of goal continues. Well, that is that. Chelsea are through to round 5 once again. Final score at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 3, Luton Town 1.
A place in the FA Cup quarter-final is up for grabs. It's a cold evening at Oakwell for Chelsea against Barnsley. Thomas Tuchel's first taste of FA Cup football, and the team he has selected for tonight is as follows. In goal, Kepa Arrizabalaga. A back three of Kurt Zouma, Andreas Christensen and Emerson. Callum Hudson-Odoi and Marcus Alonso applying the wing-back roles. Captain for tonight, N'Golo Kante alongside Billy Gilmour. Hakim Ziyech, Christian Pulisic and Tammy Abraham. On the bench for Chelsea, Willy Caballero, Antonio Rudiger, Mateo Kovacic, Olivier Giroud, Ben Chilwell, Reece James, Cesar Azpilicueta, Tino Anjorin and Lewis Bate as well. 10 changes, only Andreas Christensen starts from the team that beat Sheffield United on Sunday. One of those changes is our one to watch tonight, Hakim Ziyech. I mean, is magic, isn't he? Jace, I know that he was the player, you've said this on a number of occasions, he was the player you were most looking forward to coming to Chelsea in the summer. Thomas Tuchel has spoken this week about, him still needing a little bit of time to adapt. And even Hakim has said, I think it was on Instagram, that we've not seen the best of Hakim Ziyech yet. And that's an exciting prospect, because what we have seen in glimpses has been magical.
It has, but it's been too far a few between if you think about his injuries and perhaps not playing as well, change of manager. There are so many things that can add up to why he hasn't quite hit the peaks he did at Ajax. And you could maybe argue that, well, maybe that was expected because it was a big money move and he came through a pandemic. Like I said, the injuries has stunted his certainly the appearances at the beginning of the season. And then when he came in, he never really looked quite fit enough. But we're halfway through the season, over that now. As long as he's fit, these are minutes under his belt. These are absolutely crucial minutes for him, because in the system that we're playing right now and the personnel that he's got, I don't find a place for him in the team. The starting 11, Tuchel's best 11 with a 3 at the back. So this is a game, you think about all the players that we've got right now, this is as big a game as anyone that is for him. Because we want to see the Ziyech. We want to see what we saw at Ajax. We want to see why he costs so much money. We want to see he's 27 now. He's at the peak of his powers. So all the problems that he's had, we all accept and understand. And I feel for him, because he wants to make sure that he puts in those performances. Tonight is massive for him, because because against inferior opposition, he should shine. He should run the game. He should be the most influential player on this pitch for me. So let's hope that we see that.
Claire, Jason's right in terms of he probably won't have played in a system like this prior to Ajax, in the way they were playing, the very sort of 4-3-3, and in prior to that's where he prospers, is where he can play on the right and cut in from the left. But the best players, they mould to teams, don't they? The best players find a way to get into teams. So the gauntlet, like Jason said there, the challenge for Hakim Ziyech tonight will be, make Thomas Tuchel pick you. We know that he's got the ability, and if he finds a spot, then I'd say that's a headache and a half, isn't it?
He has to play his way into his team. You're right. It's about adaptability. A player of that ability, you'd think it would be kind of easier than it looks, and it's not. It's not as straightforward as that. But for me, we haven't seen the best of him yet. I think what we can do, we can count on him to see something different. And sometimes we need that. You need someone to be able to unlock things when it's not going our way. Look, he has lots of quality, and I think he needs to step up a little bit. He's got the competition around him, and I think this is his opportunity now to stake his claim.
Zach, he's not really had a huge run of games like Jason and Claire have both sort of alluded to. He's not, I think the most he's played in a row has been about 5 or 6 games this season. For a player of his quality, he's had injuries. He's come in the middle of a pandemic, like we keep mentioning, but it's important to say that because it is obviously a huge contributing factor. But a run of games is important to get to. But, like we've seen on numerous occasions, the squad is so deep that you may not get a run of games to play your way into it. You have to hit the ground running. He started both FA Cup games this season already. So tonight is exactly that opportunity, isn't it?
100%. And we know the quality he has. I mean, we've seen it against Burnley earlier this season, the first time we played them. And he was fantastic in that game. And it felt like just when he was starting to get into his stride, and then came an injury, sadly. So today is definitely a marking point. I mean, at the same time, it is, it is lower opposition. Like, he should be dominating that fullback. He should be dominating that defender, causing trouble down there. It'd be worrying if he wasn't doing that. And at times, he's the one player in that squad who actually adds something that others don't. That kind of ball into the back post, that, like, if it's from a set piece, even if it's from, he can put it onto his left foot and deliver it, and also create something out of nothing. He isn't necessarily the quickest of players, but he's something that he builds other players around him. He gets other players involved with him. So yeah, it's definitely a big game for him. 100%. He needs to take it by both hands and show, just like Tammy, just like Pulisic, just like any of the players out there today, why they need to be in the starting 11 every week.
Another big opportunity he's been spoken about very highly from Thomas Tuchel in the week, Jace, is N'Golo Kante. He said that he's one of the best players in the world in his position. He says he can play as a double six or a single six. We've been guilty, and I think we'll all be honest and admit this. We've been guilty of taking N'Golo Kante for taking advantage of him in that aspect, because we take him for granted massively. He's so good consistently that when he does get an injury, or when he has played a lot of football and then perhaps he's not 11 out of 10 like he is every week, it's very, very quick that people outside say, oh, he's lost a little bit here. today's an opportunity for him to not only captain the side and show what he's capable of, but also play his way back into it, because any team in the world is better with N'Golo Kante on the pitch.
Yeah, and look, we know the qualities that he has. What is Tuchel looking for that double six? What is he looking for? Well, if you look at what he's got in Jorginho and cover, he's looking for ball retention, he's looking for quick passing, looking to make sure that in that area there, they're the link between the back and the number 10s, whoever that might be. Well, that really isn't N'Golo's game. N'Golo's game is the best in the world at it, is winning the ball back in the middle of the park. I've never seen anyone in the whole time I've ever watched football, I've never seen anyone win the ball back quickly and as convincingly and as well as he does ever. And that's the best defensive midfielders in the world ever. But that's not what he wants from his two number sixes. So there are certain games that I think N'Golo will absolutely fit the bill. When we have lots of possession and we're going to dominate possession, I'm not sure he gets in because we don't need him. I think there are games, for example, off the top of my head, Atletico Madrid away. Atletico Madrid, when we might need just to keep things nice and tight. The ball, we might not have as much of the ball against Manchester City, for example. They're the type of games that I expect N'Golo to have a big say, winning the ball back, defensively being nice and tight, and making sure that we are solid in the middle of the park. But you're right, it's still a big game. He's been unlucky with injuries also as well, not just this season. But yeah, he's another one. And you know what? What we're talking about now, we are talking about competition for places all over the park, and we're talking top class in N'Golo's world-class players that actually are trying to fight their way into a team, which I have to say is healthy.
Claire, Jace makes a great point there, because it's the same conversation we had 6-7 days ago about Reece James and Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side, isn't it? You have sort of two players that can clearly play that right wing-back role, and in some games where you're going to be, I suppose, a lot more on the front foot, and defensively, like tonight, defensively you may not have to be as aware as you would be against a Man City or a Tottenham like we saw last week. So Callum will be allowed to sort of play 20, 30 yards higher up the pitch, whereas a game when perhaps you're asked to do a little bit more defensively, that's when Reece James perhaps comes into his own. So I suppose that's the same discussion. Like Jason said, if you've got competition for places anywhere on the pitch, that's a huge positive for a manager to have.
Yeah, different players suit different games, and it is like what a great conundrum for Tuchel to have. The fact he's got all these amazing players who suit different kind of games. I think Jason's right with the Kante situation. That I think it's clear what how Kante is defined is very much around the short distances. The strengths is about the counter pressing and recoveries of the ball. Sometimes that just doesn't suit the games, and I think we're very much possession based at the moment. I think we have an average of something like almost 70% of the ball retention during the last 4 games. So I think that speaks volumes for where he fits in. But yeah, equally the wing back area, I think if you've got two amazing players for each position, that's the best. We want to go the furthest in every competition, and you need that depth, don't you? So I think that's key.
Complete. I mean, it's only been underlined in the last sort of 7 or 8 days. In fact, so obviously an injury sustained by Thiago Silva at Tottenham has given Andreas Christensen the chance to impress a new manager. It's fair to say he's grabbed his chance with both hands. Have a little look at this.
The obvious choice to replace Thiago Silva in the middle of our back three is, of course, Andreas Christensen. It's a role that suits him. I think he's far better suited to that than he is in a back four. In the middle of a three is something he's done under Antonio Conte, if you remember. So, let's look back what happened at Bramall Lane last season after lockdown. It was a dreadful afternoon's work for everyone, in particular Andreas. Ollie McBurney really did get the better of him on that day. And going back to Bramall Lane at the weekend, that would have been on his mind. He had to come off the bench against Spurs last Thursday. I always find it's difficult for subs to come off, in particular defenders, in big games, but he coped brilliantly. It suits his game, as I've already said. Part of the job is to make sure you cover your two wide centre-halves and be in the right position. He does on that occasion. And the thing that suits his game about playing in a three is you get a little bit more time and space, and you can do this. You can step into the middle of the park and you can run with it because you've got two centre-halves behind you and set up an attack. But the thing that impressed me also was the fact that he stood up to that physical battle with Ollie McBurney, and I think he enjoyed it. Done ever so well. His positional sense, his defending on the day was excellent. My man of the match, actually. And he's done ever so well to come out the cold and perform the way that he has.
Andreas Christensen is our hot topic 3 for tonight, because it's Christensen taking his chance. And Zach, I believe you spoke to him this week. What did you get from him?
Yeah, no, we spoke to him for Chelsea Unscripted, and I spoke to him a few times, actually. He's a really, really nice guy. He's the calmest man I've ever met in my life. I don't know if it's the Danish or it's weird as well. His accent as well. It's because he's been here for so long. It's just London. Like you talked to, he's just from South London. And he's really cool. No, he's one of the chillest man I've ever met in my life, and just and you see it with the way he plays football, right? Never seems to be worried too much, always very calm on the ball, progressive too. But no, I think he's kind of glad to be getting this chance at the moment and is trying to take it with both hands. I thought he played really well against Spurs when he came on. I actually thought he was very good as well against Sheffield United, absolutely bodied I think it was Ollie McBurney up front. But yeah, no, I think his character kind of shows how he plays on the pitch as one of the most chill men out there. He's a really decent guy.
It's weird, Jason, because you'd imagine like a calm influence is a great attribute in a centre half. And whenever I speak to people about you, Jay, the first thing they say is calm. Never see him agitated. Never see him
for sure.
His game, he's a better footballer than I was. His game is totally different to mine. But the game has changed. Can I use that as an excuse? Maybe.
Mate, I'm stepping in. I'm not having you put yourself down, mate. Not at all. You played elite level football.
Look, he has, Andreas, as we have spoken about, as I seem to have spoken about since he's been at this football club, it feels like 10 years or plus. With the qualities he's got, I could list them off. I could sit here. But at times, and there are times, I just feel as though he plays within himself a bit. And I think that sometimes we are talking about being calm. So Thiago Silva's calm, but you know what? There's something about him, there's an edge to him. I'd like Andreas, and I thought he was our best player against Sheffield United the weekend, because he went into that game, you go back 6 months previous, Ollie McBurney bullied him. Up top, at Bramall Lane, we got beat 3-0. It was a dreadful performance collectively. Individually, he had a poor game. But I have to say, I thought he was outstanding. And physically, he stood up to it. I'd like to see more of that. I want to see a bit more personality in terms of him being he's a centre-half. It can be an ugly job at times. When you've got time, he's got the ability just to slow and play at his pace. But I still think there needs to be a bit more of an edge about him and have that devilment that centre-halves need.
Claire, it's his 100th start for Chelsea tonight. Makes him the first academy product to do that since John Terry. So, I think Jason made a really good point there, because he's been around for a while, Andreas. And I suppose the biggest sort of backhanded compliment you can pay him is that we still probably haven't seen the best of him. And he's still a centre-half that's still learning. But in this system, in the middle of a three, like Jason said, you can get the best out of him in terms of when he's very good on the ball, he's very calm, he's very composed, he's got that secured sort of people around him to sort of help manage the game. But I thought, like Jay hit the nail on the head, I thought he was superb on Sunday. If we start to see the best out of him in this system, it's only a huge positive for everyone involved.
Yeah, I think it brings the best out of him when he's got the two centre-backs beside him as well. He's looked good in the last two games, particularly against Sheffield. He was very dominant. I was quite impressed with his performance. But I think Jason's right there. You know what? I think he's fighting for his place. It's almost like a realisation. I've got to show a little bit more, because at the moment he's getting pushed aside, isn't he? Because the players are coming around him. He has to, increase level his game up. And I think both him and Rudiger have contracts running out next summer. So, this actually is potential for him to go, look, this is my club. This is my position. I need to, and to do that, I need a bit about him. I think Jason's right. He does come across like a lovely guy, but sometimes you can be pushed around a bit, but we haven't seen that in the last two games.
No, absolutely right. We'll have a little. We'll carry on with this chat in a second, actually. But first, we did play Barnsley earlier in the season. It finished very convincing for Chelsea, shall we say, including a Kai Havertz hat trick. So let's take a look at the highlights.
Chelsea begin their Carabao Cup campaign with the visitor Championship side Barnsley, who've already played 2 ties to get to this stage. There is a Blues debut tonight for Thiago Silva. Mount just got away from him. Oh, that's a poor touch though, and Abraham's won it back, and Tammy Abraham has his first goal of the season. And slightly against the run of play, Chelsea ahead just before the 20-minute mark. Mount, good footwork to take him away from Helmer. And here's Havertz, his first Chelsea goal. A big moment for the German. Mount made it, but Abraham played his part too. And Havertz with a straightforward finish. He's put his defender under a bit of pressure with that back pass. Barkley's pinched it back after great work from Havertz and swept it in for 3-0. And that might be good night, Barnsley. Barkley scores in round 3 for the second year in a row. Kovacic looking to pounce on another mistake here. Abraham wants it in the middle. It's a lovely touch for Havertz, on target again. And Chelsea beginning to enjoy themselves now. Great ball round the corner from Abraham for Havertz. Collins has made a mess of it. Havertz is going to walk it in for his hat-trick. What a night for Kai Havertz. 3 goals and Chelsea cruising. Here's Chilwell, the substitute. Great ball in. Olivier Giroud pays it the compliment it deserved. Well, a hat-trick for Havertz, and on his debut, an assist for Chilwell too. No wonder he's happy.
So it could be a very unlikely hat-trick against Barnsley tonight. In fact, so obviously we played them earlier in the season. We just saw in the Carabao Cup, beat them 6-0. Kai Havertz hat-trick amongst others. We beat them 8-1 in the FA Youth Cup as well. So this is sort of unprecedented terms, but it's it shouldn't be forgotten. It shouldn't be looked past either, Jay. They are a good side. They've come a long way since we played them at the start of the season, and maybe there's a couple of changes. I think we've all seen there's a couple of changes from perhaps their first choice team, but they are at home, and it's a different animal whenever you're playing a home team.
They beat Norwich in the last round. Norwich, at the time were top of the championship. This is a side that are trying to get themselves back into the Premier League, and to beat them, that tells you all you need to know. Okay, Norwich wasn't put their first side out. They play 3 at the back as well, so it'll be matched up pretty much all over the park. So it's going to be a fair fight. No one's really should get outnumbered in any areas because of the way that both teams are set up. But like I said, they've got nothing to lose here. Chelsea are rocking up to their stadium. You go back to, was it 2008 that things fell apart at the scene back at there. I remember the game. They'll be reminded of it. I don't know about you guys. I'm guessing you're like me. I've seen so many reruns of that goal in the last 24, 48 hours. So you can't help but not avoid it. We just got to make sure we bring our A game, and we will have too much. But I'm expecting a fight. This is a side that have improved. They were fighting relegation last season. That's not been the case. They changed their manager. They're halfway up the table. They're doing much better this year. This is a much better Barnsley than perhaps we saw even at the beginning of the season.
Can't really read too much into it, but Thomas Tuchel has actually managed against Valérien Ismaël, who's the Barnsley manager tonight. It was when he was Dortmund manager, they won 3-0 against his Wolfsburg side. Christian Pulisic come off the bench that night as well, actually. Oh. Jeffrey Bruma scored as well. I think he scored an own goal for Dortmund. And then Andre Schürrle played. So there's loads of little narratives here, there and everywhere. But Claire, like you said, the importance when you play lower league opposition is you don't want this to become a conversation, do you? You want this to be just moving on. You don't want it to become a 13-year-old tradition, as it were.
No, we don't. And at Chelsea, I think we've lost 2 of the last 54 FA Cup ties against low league sides. So let's keep it at 2. Happy there. Look, they're going to make it difficult, aren't they? They're going to be a little bit bruised from the last time we played them. But, I mean, it's a game we're expected to win. But you never know. I mean, I've gone 3-0, but you never know. I don't. FA Cup. I think the magic of the cup is always an upset somewhere, and it won't be at Chelsea for sure.
Well, the draw has just been made, Zach. So Chelsea have drawn Sheffield United at home in the quarterfinals. If we win tonight, what do you make of that?
I mean, it wasn't easy a couple of days ago, was it? Like, I think we know they're a side who, yes, they have gone through a bad patch, but recently they it's not like they're losing games 4-0, 5-0. It's by 1 goal most of the time, and look, we showed a couple of days ago that we can do it, and the fact that it'll be at Stamford Bridge is even better. It's a good draw. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. Eventually you will have to play a better team per se, but I mean, right now I'm sure the boys will just be thinking, let's get this game done first before we think about that. I actually reckon they won't even know until full time.
I was going to ask you that, Jay, actually, 'cause that's a really good point. Do you, when you know the draw's happening prior to it, do you make a point of finding out, or do you just go, don't worry about it?
I know, this is a modern day football thing. What makes you think whenever I play the FA Cup, seconds before, look, they may find out, they may not. The incentive is to get into the next round. You know, the most important thing I ever look at in a draw is, are we at home? If that's a yes, then after that, you just take what comes your way. Look, we've got Premier League opposition. We saw at the weekend what the game's going to be like. Okay, so it's not going to be easy. It could have been harder. It could have been easier. But you know what? I'll take Sheffield United. Avoid the two Manchesters. Avoid Leicester. We've done that. I know Man United have got Leicester away, which is a tough game, really tough game for them. As long as we're at home, that's the most important thing. Win tonight, and then we can talk about that time.
Completely right. Claire, so you've gone for a 3-0 tonight. So coming into who do you fancy as first goal scorer?
Tammy. I'm going Tammy because I just think, I know he hasn't played as much, but when he, prior to this change of management, he was on form, he was on fire. His movement was fantastic. He looked like he was enjoying himself. So yeah, I'm hoping he gets some goals tonight.
Zach, first goal scorer, one word.
Gilmour.
Oh, love that. Yeah. Jay, same from you.
Zuma. Set pieces. Big game for Kerr. He's been frozen out since Tuchel has come in. I feel a bit sorry for him because I think he's been really good. Clearly doesn't fancy him a 3. Big game for him tonight, and he'll get a goal.
Good work. Well, that is all from us for now. Before we join our commentary team, Lee caught up with the boss as he looked forward to his first taste of FA Cup football.
Thomas, your first experience of the FA Cup, how much are you looking forward to it?
A lot, because I love the cup competitions, and obviously the FA Cup is one of the most prestigious and most famous cups in the world. The final is played in Wembley, so it's a big goal for us. But like it is in cup games, it's knockout games, and like we all know in football, you have to be prepared for what's coming next. And this is a difficult match in Barnsley, and this is right now the most important match in this cup campaign.
Was it a competition that you were aware of growing up in Germany, and were you aware of Chelsea's rich history in it as well?
Yeah, but I was thinking about it, but what was always clear, even for me as a kid in Germany, and there was no internet and not many TV stations at that time, is the beauty of the cup itself. And this huge stadium everybody talked about, this mystical stadium called Wembley. So yeah, to be in the middle of it and to be in this competition, yeah, it feels like if you're in the middle of it right now, it feels like normal because I prepare my team tomorrow to play against Barnsley. If you step out and you think about it, it can be. It is nice because this is what you dream about when you're a boy.
It is a beautiful competition, and teams always love the potential of an upset, don't they, in cup competitions? What are you expecting from Barnsley, and of course a manager you've faced before?
We expect a high pressing up in our pitch. We have to be absolutely concentrated and well prepared to find solutions for the questions they will ask us. And yeah, there is no space to be surprised. We need an intense performance. We need to be full aware, fully concentrated, and yeah, this is what we expect from tomorrow.
You've already suggested that there'll be some changes to your starting 11. Do you see this as a good opportunity for players like Billy Gilmour?
It is. In general, it is an opportunity, yeah, because we play now 3 away games in a row, so we don't want to lose intensity, we don't want to lose attention, we don't want to lose concentration, and we want to keep up playing with the same intensity for counter-pressing, for attacking, like we did in the games before, and that's why. And the second, maybe most important point is that a lot of players deserve it who had some difficult decision now against them from me, and this is the moment to have some changes and to give them the trust, because we have the trust. The same moment is important for me to say, to not over expect now from them that they have to overperform, to prove that they are ready to play Premier League. We know that and we trust it. We expect a solid, concentrated and a performance that is like on the same level like the last games. This is what we expect. We focus on ourselves, and this is what we also demand.
One thing's for sure, it'll be another very cold night in Yorkshire, won't it? How much are you loving this English winter?
Well, we didn't expect anything else. Would be a surprise if it was not like this, but it was really, really cold. It was bitter cold in Sheffield. You have to accept these difficulties. It felt a little bit like a cup game, even in Sheffield. When you see the physical data after the match, you can also see that they played it like a cup game. It was like a very intense match of them, and they forced us also to accept the intensity and the difficulties. And this will, I expect the same weather and of course, the same circumstances. Maybe it's not the best pitch in the world that we will see. But there's no time for complaints. There's no time for not being ready. As you have to accept and you have to adapt.
I wanted to ask you about the development of some of your midfielders, specifically Mateo Kovacic. How pleased have you been with his development over the last 2 weeks?
I think he did amazing. Kova, I mean, you can obviously call him in the middle of the night, and he will be ready to dribble and to run and to steal balls, and in the middle of the night he will arrive for sure. The guy he has the mentality of a real champion. This is incredible, and he played a very, very important role, crucial role together in combination with Jorginho. Now we have Kante back, so the three guys are crucial for us. And Kova did fantastic in terms of game understanding, in terms of acceleration with the ball, in terms of being calm under pressure, in terms of being confident under pressure, being like always involved in almost every attack, and being so hard working with the team in the core of the pitch. I'm super happy with his mentality and his quality, and the performance that he showed us. Outstanding.